In today's video, we're going to talk about the Chevrolet HHR and why it got canceled. And I made a few of these videos, so I'll link them in the description below so you can go watch those. But like we always do, we're going to go ahead and go over the model years, the styling, the pricing, the competitors, the sales numbers, the known issues, which is a new one, and the replacement, if it was replaced. The HHR was not replaced, although some sources say that the Sonic replaced it, even though it didn't. But anyway, now we move on to the model years. So the Chevrolet HHR came out for the 2006 model year in 2005, the late part of 2005, around November-ish or the fall of 2005. It ran from 2006 to 2011 before it was discontinued, although there are a few stragglers still being sold brand new in 2013. And this car never really got any major design changes or any facelifts or any mid-design cycle changes or whatever. It was the same from 2006 to 2011, obviously before it got canceled. And so those were the model years. Now we move over to styling. The styling of this car is rather interesting. The body is more of just a squarish box. It's definitely a cube. A Nissan Cube, maybe a Kia Soul Scion XB, or something like that. That is definitely what I could see it going for, except a little bit more smoother and not completely just 90-degree angles. It's still 90-degree angles, but you can see you have some flared fenders or, some rounded curves and some rounded edges. They're not just completely straight and forward. That would be very boxy, just like the Scion XB, which this thing is trying not to be, although it's not doing a very good job at not being that car. For the rear, the tail light design is a vertical design with two tail lights. The top one being for the brake lights, the tail lights, and the turn signals, and the bottom one is solely for the reverse lights. And there's also a panel version of this car, which is interesting. So it's pretty much just all of the rear windows except for the very rear window, but the rear side windows are they're blacked out, or they put a cover over it, so it's more like a cargo van, so that if you have anything in this car, it's not going to shatter the window. So that's a pretty nice design, and you just saw it a couple moments ago. Now we move over to pricing, and here's a chart that I have designed with the with the three trim levels on it. And you can see it's from the model year 2009. So you don't have to say, oh, my 07 HHR didn't have that. Well, this is for the 2009 HHR. So you have the LS, which is a base model. And you pretty much were getting the base bare bones vehicle. You got keyless entry, power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, all that stuff. But that's it. You didn't get heated seats, leather steering wheel buttons. You just got the base design. And for that money, you were getting, or for the 19 grand, you were getting a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder, 155 horsepower, and a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. The 5-speed manual was the base transmission of choice. The 4-speed automatic you had to pay extra for. The LT version is next, starting at 21 grand. And you're getting a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder, again 155 horsepower, and the same transmission options, 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic. A lot of people obviously got the automatic. And for this, if you went all the way up to the top of the line, excluding the SS, you did get all of the sunroof and the backup camera and the heated seats, heated steering wheel, Bluetooth, that was also an option, power seats, leather seats. So this car did offer a lot of features, but you had to pay a lot for those features as well. They weren't free, or they weren't standard with the car, because you can go right now and go out and buy a $14,000 Versa, and you're getting a backup camera standard, but whatever. And then the SS is the top of the line model. All of these are front wheel drive. But the SS has tuned handling, more power, more torque. But again, it's still front wheel drive, so you're not gonna have too much fun with this car. And for that, you're paying 25 grand, $25,135 to be exact. You're getting a 2 liter 4-cylinder, making 260 horsepower, and it's only made it to a 5-speed manual. And so, like I said, all of these are front wheel drive, so they're all relatively boring, but The kind of people who buy these, they just need something to get to and from work, or they had their own little small business. They wanted to transport things. They may have been a small little delivery driver. They had to use their own car or company car, and this is what they got. So I kind of understand the point of the Chevrolet HHR. But now we move on to the competitors. So I've laid out a list of the competitors. The Chrysler PT Cruiser, which is why this whole thing came about. General Motors said, "Oh, we could do the PT Cruiser look too," because at the time, the PT Cruiser was a very popular car. It won Motor Trend's Car of the Year in 2001, and they're not always completely accurate, but whatever, because those things were hot garbage. But nonetheless, the PT Cruiser is a competitor of the HHR. Another one would be the Honda Element. They both share the same boxy design and weird styling and weird everything. The Nissan Cube, same deal, boxy styling, weird. And then the Mini Countryman, it's simple. They made a cargo version of this car. So yeah, they all kind of directly or indirectly compete with the HHR, but nonetheless, these are the four competitors that I thought would go hand in hand with the HHR. Now we move on to the sales numbers. Yeah, this thing sold decently for 2005. They sold 41,000 of these in like 5 months. So it wasn't too bad. 41,000 in 5 months. 2006 they sold a little over 100,000 units. 2007 was their best year, selling 105 units. In 2008, when the economic crisis took place, this thing was still almost pushing 100,000 units. 96,000. 2009 it really took a tank, 70,000, but then in 2010 it quickly rebounded to 75,000. In 2011, 37,000 of these were sold before they pulled the plug. 21 were sold in 2012, and a whopping 3 were sold in 2013, bringing the total to over 500,000 at 526,000 units. That's not too bad for the kind of car it was. It's a niche little product. Nobody really liked it. I mean, people did like it, but it wasn't a huge success. I don't know if Chevrolet was hoping it would be a success or not, but it definitely was not. And so they sold just a little over 500,000. Comparing that to like an F-150, which it is not. The F-150 can sell more units in 1 year than this thing did in like 7 years. It was really ridiculous. But anyway, on average, we sold about 58,000 of these. So over about the 7-ish or the 8 model years that this thing was sold for, it did decent. It didn't do too bad, but it did decent. There's a lot of cars that I've talked about that did way worse than this, but this one is decent. And now we talk about the known issue, which is a new one that I've implemented just for this video, and we're going to continue to use it. The problems with the HHR include random stalling. You may have been just sitting in traffic, car would just it would just shut off, and that's not necessarily safe. You're going 80 miles an hour down the highway, it shuts off, you lose your power steering, you lose your brakes. That's very dangerous. And this is for 2006 through 2008. So Chevrolet definitely fixed this issue because they didn't want their customers to die and then sue them. Another one, electrical issues. This includes like the sunroof, if it was equipped with one, power mirrors, power locks, power windows, all this stuff. They will randomly just stop working, or even the windshield wipers, they would just stop working, which is again, not necessarily ideal if you're in a time of need in either of these options. You have the sunroof, you may need to climb out of the sunroof, you're on your side. Well, the sunroof is jammed, you're not opening it. You need your windshield wipers because you're in a heavy rainstorm. Well, if they just shut off, there's nothing you can do about it. Your power windows, power locks, power anything like that. Yeah, you're definitely gonna need those features, and there's no manual backup for any of these things. So if they stop because there was no manual windows at all for the HHR. So you're pretty much stuck with power windows that could easily fail, and then you'll have to pay hundreds of dollars to get them replaced because that's what General Motors wanted to do. And then finally, airbags. You got in an accident, the side curtain airbags wouldn't always deploy, which is fun. If you get T-boned, you're definitely going to want those to deploy, but whatever. So these are the three main issues with the HHR, which may have led to them deciding to cancel because, people kept complaining in 2010, 2011, hey, well, my car, you sold us this car and it's broken because of the issues. So then they'd have to give them money or, do something about it, which they didn't always want to do. So, and plus it was kind of getting outdated. The PT Cruiser was already gone. All the boxy cars are starting to die off. And so, Chevrolet said, well, this doesn't really warrant a second generation. So 2011 was the final model year. Of course, the 24 cars sold between 2012 and 13 were still an option, but you aren't getting a second generation out of this thing. Anyway, now we move on to the summary. I understand why the Chevrolet HHR was a thing. You were a small business owner. You just wanted a small little cargo van. You needed something kind of cheap. You needed something kind of reliable. You needed something practical. This was your option. Or you had a small family. You didn't really want to step up to an SUV or a minivan or something more expensive. This was your option. These were one of the smaller and less expensive hatchbacks and SUVs. And so this was your option. There weren't too many other options you could get for around the same price. You couldn't get, a CRV for 18 grand or a RAV4 for 20 grand. 19 grand if you needed something that would just get you to and from work. This was your option. It wasn't a very good option, but it was still your option. And so that was the Chevrolet HHR and why it got canceled. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.